What's going on, everybody? James Collins, CPWE.AI, and Greg Hyatt from BigXmedia.net. How you doing, Greg?
Good. What's going on, James?
Oh, it's been a busy week. I've still been working during the day and pushing it out through the night too. But we got some big news coming on our side, on the AI side, and then it's
Had to
just
speak to my
everywhere I look.
missus to get her to turn on the lights.
That's okay.
Hit that for me again, cause for whatever reason, whatever you just said, decided to mute itself out.
What I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Um, I said we just got some good news coming tonight. That's what I was saying.
All right. They may have heard it. May have been on my end because I had to mute my microphone to tell Miss Ma'am to turn on the office light, so I didn't look like I was sitting in a dungeon somewhere.
Well, you don't ever look like you're sitting in a dungeon. It actually looks really cool with all those ambient lights you got going on in there. I need to get
It'll
some.
look a lot better when I get my wall done behind me, so I can move my desk the other way to look like I'm in a legit environment. But the panels I'm looking at are 2 feet wide by about 5 feet tall, and they're about $153 a panel. And it's going to take about 8 of them to do the whole wall behind me, or at least the portion that the camera will capture. And then I'll add a little bit of some ambient LEDs, or maybe even put those hexagon LED lights up there.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that. So, is that the projects you got going? Is home renovation? How about the agency side? What do you got going?
Well, agency side just wrapped up on a large website for a heating and cooling company out of Conway, which is Reliance Heating and Cooling. So still working on their SEO stuff. That'll be ongoing. Done about, I don't know, handful of graphics today for my plan store and for Reliance Heating and Cooling, as well as the church, and just some SEO things trying to tidy up, and that's about it for
So,
today.
what does a seasoned agency owner use for graphics?
Me personally,
Yes.
it depends what I'm looking to output. So, I mean, I can do as much in Canva as most people can do in Photoshop once you learn all the ins and outs and tricks to it. But today's output was all done in Photoshop because it involves several layers and a little bit more complex than what Canva will push out as far as the overall quality, and allow you to flatten down images and text and convert those into vectors instead of just type fonts. Because anytime you're dealing with a type font, it may look good on the screen, but come time to save it and export it, then when you load it in something like a Facebook post, the font just looks stupid. So you've got to convert your fonts and everything down. And once you export it, flatten down the whole image so it looks quality. Make sure you got the right color profiles for all kinds of devices, which I usually use Adobe's standard sRGB color profiles, which is pretty adaptive across all size devices, and that's about it.
Hmm.
Plus,
Couple
I
things.
can I can pick out some. Plus, the advantage of using Photoshop, like if I get a graphic for somebody and they say love it, but you got to take this, this, and this out of this graphic and leave everything else. Adobe just gives you a whole lot more, I feel, better quality tools to execute that without destroying the overall image. Of course, anytime you do that, you create a copy of the original. That way, you're not destroying the original and then use the other one for a mask. But I just feel like the level of tools for removing or relocating objects on an image a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Uh, One tip for Photoshop users, especially the new ones, when you pull a photo. Photoshop, it's that layer will most likely first step in that layer and unlock it. That way you can start copying down to your collage or whatever you're looking to do, even just making a copy of the layer itself, like Greg was just talking about, and using it as a mask. That just means laying one photo over another, erasing parts of one and blending them together. That way it masks certain parts of your photo and shows others. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. If you don't do it that way, I mean, anybody that's ever played in Photoshop's done it at least a half a dozen times, if not a half a million. You start making edits like that on the original layer without making a duplicate copy of it within whatever you're working on, then you realize you don't like it. Well, guess what? You just done what's called a destructive edit. That's why it's imperative to make a copy of whatever you're working on so you still have a clean file within your project in the event if you make a major oops.
that's a good, very good piece of wisdom. And I would actually add along to that wisdom is if you try to control Z like you normally would to go back or undo, you may get two or three with Photoshop. You don't get to go back to the beginning. But there is another tip, tip two. When you go to the top of Photoshop, select window and then select your window for your
Looking
I
for the
lost my
history.
train of thought. Yeah, history. Window for your history. That way you can go back further than just two or three edits. So that's tip number two. Go to your window for your history. Thanks, Greg, for pulling me out. My brain just went completely blank.
The other thing too, and you could even do this in Canva, but also particularly in Photoshop, is when you're going to start creating images that involve multiple layers. And I'm talking very complex type images where you got maybe 10, 12. I've done some images upwards of 50 individual layers. It's important to name your layers because if you don't label the actual layers in the panel and you're like, okay, which one am I actually working on? You don't have a clue. And then you're just hoping that the blue boundary box will show up on, whichever layer you're working on. But if you name them, so I'm going to use an instance where you got three people that have been added in. So each one of those on their individual layers, if you double click on the layer name, put a name in there so it's recognizable to you, and of course hit return. That way, when you say, well, I need to go in and edit Greg, well, I can find Greg in the layers real quick because it's labeled. As where if you don't, it just says, layer 7, layer 8, layer 10. What's that mean if you don't know what it is?
You're exactly right. You most definitely want to name those layers accordingly to what it is and makes it a whole lot easier on you. But that's
Yeah,
stuff you learn over time. That's like with video editing. You always want to create your folder in the place it's going to be. Because if you try to pull in video from your downloads folder and then have your project in a folder named after your project, what you'll find is as soon as you move those videos from your download folder to your project folder, you get the red screen of death, I call it. Where's your media at? It has been, and that's video editing. So yeah, I mean that's it's all in the Adobe Creative Cloud suite, and
it's not my line of expert, but I was highly impressed with that video you had put together for the young man with the lawn mowing service. Thought that was pretty slick, pretty cool. And I know I'm presuming you use the tools inside of CPWE.AI
I did.
to slap that one
I
together.
have I've committed to using my own tools for anything, and if I get stuck to where I can't use my tools, that just shows me where I need to build another tool. So I just build it real quick, and then I have the capability. So I'm really trying to do the builds as I go, as I need them, and I build them for myself. It's the reason why I say our tools are the best. It's because they're practical. They're made for, like, how would you scan a website and get a proposal together for what you do for SEO for a new client, or maybe a migrated website. Um, I tried to automate that on my side where I can just put in a URL and it'll run a report. And I've seen your reports, and they're pretty awesome too. So I think that we're on the same track. I just would rather use my own tools right now so I know what I don't have, so
Well,
I
it's
can
just
build.
it's a better way to refine the overall package for the tools for additional users that are coming on board. So that's a definite plus. No downside to that for me personally, only because I've done it for so flipping long. I can look at a person's website and pretty much tell them from just looking at it what's missing in SEO, what's, I don't have to search. I don't have to do comparison. I don't have to go out and look for any of their competition if they have any, because I'm looking at the overall structure. Because I can pretty much tell by looking at it, it's like, nothing happening here, which basically says, okay, let's start this project from scratch, rebuild it with SEO in mind. Because, let's face it, a lot of people build websites back in the day were nothing more pretty much than a brochure website. You had your home page, you maybe have an about page, your services page, a contact page, and maybe if you were selling something online, if you had e-commerce, okay, you had your products page. Pretty standard across the board. But those days have changed with requirements, especially on mobile web page scores and things of that nature. So a lot more has to go into the overall design. It's not a it's not as easy as a click and point environment is what some people thought it used to be even 3 years ago. There's a lot more thought process that goes into that. The whole design from fonts to images to how big to how small, compress, G-SIP, how much animation is going to be on the side, if any, because that's the other thing that kills people is they start putting all these animations across the entire website, from images sliding into the left to text sliding in from the bottom right, whatever. It looks good, from a certain perspective, but from a performance aspect, what's it really doing for you? Because if Google doesn't love you, it doesn't matter. But I'm glad you're using all the tools to help refine them, find out what they are or aren't doing, especially, and I don't know, I think we talked about this before as far as how they're actually learning, where are they going out looking at, especially in the image and video generation. The video you done, I thought that was pretty slick. Haven't tried the video myself, only because I've been a little bit kind of busy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably fixing to get real inundating here in a day or so. I've already got two projects that are pounding in my head, but it's a process, and I was getting
well,
ready to do a YouTube video myself about how people so misuse AI for what they do. Because you really first want to think about, can we prompt engineer the things that are in the back end of CPWE like
oh, absolutely.
you would in ChatGPT? So okay, so there's where I think a lot of people miss some golden opportunities, only because people don't really understand what it means when you refer to prompt engineering. And that's basically the who, what, when, where, and why, for lack of better words. Who are you trying to reach? What kind of output are you want it to deliver to you? Different things like, is it meeting Google's EEAT standards? And is it compiling both things that will help you if you're, especially in website? Are you doing things that will help you with your SEO as well as AEO? And both can combine and integrate to provide and deliver better results.
Absolutely.
But
I
if you
want
don't take the
to,
time to know that, you're not going to get what you're looking for on the output.
well, let me try to be who I would think the customer is, and maybe even share a perspective that should probably change. And that is 5 years ago, a business would say, why do we even need a website? And 5 years ago, I owned a business as well, and I would say you wouldn't. You could run off of a Facebook profile, you could run off of word of mouth, and you could do a lot of things like that. But as Web 2.0 transitions to Web 3.0, your your job is going to be to create a brand. So, regardless of whether you're building it in a Unity stage for virtual reality so you can enjoy the new social medias or interest media, whatever you want to call that, not only will you be doing technology, you're going to be forced to do technology within the next decade for sure, probably even 5 years. You're pushing it. Uh, the No matter what you do, you are going to have to learn at least the principles of AI. And what I have done with these tools is I've made it to where that is easy. You're learning very complex things in a very easy way. Um, that's what I've done with our tools. And to really just layer on what Greg was saying with SEO and AEO, or ask engine optimization, that's talking to Chat GPT and asking it, or talking to your phone and asking it to find the closest restaurant or the closest um, service type business, the closest heating and air. And that's where the perspective comes in. The old days was, why would I need a website? The new days are, we need to brand you so AI knows your business. That way, everything AI from now on knows your business. Otherwise, it's not going to know your business. It's
Well, and keep that in mind. Also, people using more and more of their assistants, smart assistants on the device. Whether you use Apple, whether you're on a Samsung, whether you're on a Google Pixel, doesn't make a difference. Your smart assistant on those devices, you should be able to bring them up by command, whatever their name be. We all know, the S person and whatever, don't want to trigger him by
we
his
shall not
devices.
say the name for the life.
Yeah, yeah.
Your
But
action.
you should be able to say that name and say something like, "Find me the best web designer or developer in whatever area you're looking for." And if your site's been properly tuned for SEO and AEO, your smart assistants will see that. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't happen overnight. And it's a basic problem I face with people even on SEO. You look at a roughly 4 to 6 months of solid work before you really start getting dug in. And there's a little bit more work in that, in the fact that, and James has heard me say this plenty of times, I'll just say it to everybody else, content is king. It's one thing to have a website, but if you're not putting fresh content up there that bears into whatever theme of business or operation you're running, and a blog post, let's use that, and then sharing that blog post out to your socials, well, after a while, Google sees this and says, well, nothing new is happening on this website. So your rankings go into commode real quick.
So I would add a layer there that even your blog posts need to be written with AEO in mind. So it's almost like the script to a video in the background, the transcript. It's, you want to make it that clear that AI can read really quickly all of your, so the short form headings like 2 words, and then it's structured different now. It's
Well,
made
it goes into, it recognizes conversational voice. Back in the day, from
answers.
an
Yep.
SEO standpoint, we refer to it as what's called a long tail keyword.
Mm.
So basically, 4 or 5 chosen words that promote whatever it is you want to get listed for. But with smart assistants becoming more fluent in natural conversation, that's the way your content needs to be written.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to optimize for SEO and AEO, but it also needs to sound like or read like there's a human presenting it. Because if it
Most,
doesn't,
most
there's
people are going to need updates here. That's what we're
yep.
saying. This isn't just us pitching for ourselves because we both own agencies here. I own an AI agency, and Greg owns an awesome website agency, and he's my administrator for my own website. Now I can build, host, I can sell you a domain just like he can, everything in one place. But when it comes to someone looking over my shoulder, that's who I chose. And I've been doing this a long time. So when I say that we're teamed up with our skill sets very well with development and administration.
Well, the
So
biggest thing too, and I hate to jump on James there, but let's face it, everybody who's starting to play in the AI field has a minimum of at least one, if not a half a dozen, subscriptions to various AI tools.
mhm,
Now, as you start to do that, depending on the tools you're using, if you got ChatGPT, something like maybe Claude,
mhm,
who's one of the image, Dolly, or
mhm.
one of those for image generation, then you got another one for video. By the time you add them up, you're at about 100 and a quarter a month, and that's for the bottom line.
Oh,
So,
don't even get into VR and a few other plugins
so
from Unity and getting into the more metaverse side, and you're going to be in the three,
well,
four, $500 range.
and that's where the tools that James has put together,
Hmm.
and I need to look at the pricing packages because I don't know what they are, but for an all-encompassing plan to get all the tools you're getting inside of here, and James could list them all. I couldn't. I could probably name you about 10 of them that personally I see would benefit me personally. But for someone with a business who really wants to get all in on AI and have access to tools that probably outside of this would cost you a couple hundred, if not 250 a month.
Minimum. I can pull
You,
250 on three tools. I had Kajabi to build my courses. I built a full academy app out. So this thing is it's ready to build a course straight from scratch, build a community from it. The AI personalities, the AI, uh, the higher end agentic AI for the super agents, all hooked up with custom APIs and webhooks, and just working on that tonight. Everything's now integrated with social media, so you could schedule posts. At least we can. Right now, we don't have anybody we're working with specifically,
well,
but
and that's the big thing for people too. Social media. If you're a small company or even a solopreneur, trying to find time to run your business, plus
mm-hmm,
do all these extra things like your social media posts, creating articles, whatever. Why not use a tool that allow you to create it, schedule it, you set it, more or less forget it, and go about your business and
mm-hmm.
let the AI do the work for you in the background.
Well, so you asked about package prices. What I've done right now, because it's the cheapest way, I didn't even make the yearly subscription available, but throw in a comment if you want the yearly subscription at $397, I think it is. But the yearly subscription's based on um, the full suite package of the and every tool I have, and
What's in there?
the
About 30 of them?
about 70 of them, and growing daily. I just built a personal fitness coach, a health and wellness diet coach, marketing, advertising. Like now, I'm integrating in leads management and what I called Lead Falcon, and it does full email campaigns for you. It's integrated with my internal CRM that's integrated with everything else, the website, anything that has a form is already integrated to a CRM to capture
So,
that data.
quick question. If a person has an existing website and
Hmm.
maybe they don't necessarily want to use the website builder and they have a form in it that will allow the uh, incorporation of a webhook.
Hmm.
Can they send that form data via a webhook over to any of the products within CPWE.AI?
Yeah. I mean, when you get into webhooks, you can automate all over the place, and we definitely have back end access to Zapier, N8N, Mate.com. You're talking your back end automations platforms there. So that's a little bit more on the tech side. But when you get into webhooks and APIs, all that is one one place is asking another place, hey, is something happening? Waiting for an event to happen. And as soon as something happens, a file shows up in that folder, then that's an event that happens. This now webhook will go, oh, an event happened, and it'll send it over here to our agent, who will then do whatever you want.
Yeah,
It's
because at the end of the day, it's all about conversions. And if
mm-hmm.
you got people filling out those forms, and granted, a lot of form builders, and of course I use WordPress. Anybody knows that. A lot of the form builders you can program to send out a thank you form with a customized message. But why not move that into a CRM where you can track what's happening with that potential lead,
Oh
where
my
they're at in the
goodness.
process, and everything else? And that's what you can do right here.
Well, as a data manager for Lockheed, that's what I did was data management. One thing that I learned, and I did it on the software side. So what you're thinking data times that by about 150, and then put a multiplier on that. That's the type of amount of data I was managing. And when you're managing that much data, what you find is if you're going to start programming and scripting and pulling pieces of that data, you're going to want it all in one place. So I've learned this concept a long time ago. And whenever I say this is powerful, what we're offering here, you're able to build your website, easily throw a form. It's already AEO optimized, it's already SEO optimized. Now you're able to take that form data right into your CRM and then put AI on that to do whatever you want with that data. So it can create lists for you for your email lists. It can start segmenting data. It can get smart on your customers and start telling you maybe something about certain customers you didn't know. Hey, this there's a trend that every April they spend over $2,000, and then every June they spend over $10,000 every year. So you can almost bank on that. Well, maybe you didn't notice that, but AI would, and it would say this is one of your top 10 customers. You need to treat them that way. So that's the way our tools work. They're they're made for communication, and they're made for efficiency. But really, a great example of this is had a young man show up at my house yesterday, and he quoted me $40 an acre to mow my grass, and I have an acre and a little over, and so I couldn't believe it. I started as a business owner. I started adding up costs, fuel and time, just thinking about my yard. And I was like, how's this young man going to make money or going to hire an employee charging me $40 to mow my grass? So I had a feeling he wasn't too business savvy, but he's a hustler. I could see it in his face. So I talked to him for a minute and I said, hey, do you have a website? And he said, no. I said, how about this? How about me and you do some trading? You mow my grass and I'll build you a website and I'll put you on the map. Now, one day we did a challenge. I said, I'm going to build you from a logo to a website and have all of your data and management set up in one place. And I'm going to do that in 1 hour. I'm going to launch your whole business. So if you are so inclined to do so and you're listening to this, just go out and check out Jacobs, Jacobs lawn care service.com. jacobslawncareservice.com. That's a young man going around doing real good work. And now we're hopefully going to get him some more jobs. So that's the way business works. You got leads and you got jobs. And the more jobs you have, the less leads you need. The more leads you have, um, the less I lost how to say that, but regardless, it's a scale there. And what you're doing is you are now gathering leads for your business with these tools. That's something that Greg was pointing at there with the contact form. Somebody hits your contact form on your website, and you may send an auto email response back. And maybe that's saved in your outbox in your Gmail or something. But we're talking a different level when we're on my tool sets. We're talking as soon as they click on that form, that data of that is important goes back to your CRM under a customer profile. So now you can start taking notes and doing those things that set you apart. Because if you start paying attention to your customers and quit making it all about yourself as a business owner, and just pay attention to what they're saying on the phone. Take some notes. If a customer has a dog named Rufus, take that note. And, you know, I bet Rufus is cool. When's his birthday? Take that note and send Rufus a bone on his birthday. You'll earn a customer for life right there. Those are the things that you don't do as a busy business owner because you just don't have time to transcribe from a notepad back to a CRM after you've worked 14, 15 hours that day. You're just lucky to post uh, 3 pictures of before and after, and you're lucky to do that, to even have that time after taking a shower and eating dinner to just get up and do it again. I know the hustle as a business owner. I've been one for a long time. So this is a business that we just started in April. Greg is my agency exclusively that I use. It's local. And then I have an agency in Phoenix that hosts my servers for my tool sets. Now I want you to think about everything being in one place and the word cybersecurity in the same sentence. Um, when it comes to cybersecurity and data tracking and management, you want to have all of that on, it should be on autopilot. There should be a policy in place. You should be following the NIST framework for cybersecurity already if you're a corporate infrastructure. But most people aren't. And I'll tell you, when they do figure out cybersecurity, the first thing they're going to do is try to build a outside edge product that puts all of that data going through, guess what, one place. Why do you think they want everything in one place? It's because data is easier to manage when it's all in one place, and it's easier to track, and it's easier to report all of the things. And that's why everything's in one place. But then we took that a step further, and on the software side, now starting to integrate all of the things that are in one place back into each other. So now your AI document wizard is building a full scale AI application that's amazing just from a sentence. And then guess what? Now, as Greg was hitting on prompt engineering, all of my tools are, especially the higher end agentic tools, are trained to take your sentence and re-prompt engineer a prompt that is suitable for what you're looking for. And it gives you that before you hit go. And you can read that new prompt and see kind of what prompt engineering is. You can use our tools here real easily. Go to our super agent tool, open that up and type a sentence. Write me a blog about this. And what you'll find is that right after that, you'll get a prompt right back a prompt engineered prompt that says, write me a structured, formatted blog with numbered uh, bullet points, and it'll go into such great detail of an amazing sounding product where all you said was write me a blog. It's now getting smarter to where it can do that. And all of my tools are equipped with that. So that's an easy button. That's solving a big problem of time and learning how to do prompt engineering. All of that's now incorporated. And he mentioned price, Greg did. Right now, I'm running a special because we launched April 2nd. We're doing it till the end of May, but we have we have tiers of what you can get with software. And as it would be with any other software, you'd be able to open it up and see exactly what tools you could get with what tier, starting at $29.99 a month, 29.49, and it goes up. Right now, what we're doing is we're giving you all our tools and grandfathering you in at $29 a month. You can't even get one of my tools for $29 a month out there on the internet because my tools are different. So there it is. And if you want to pay by the year, we'll happily do that too. And grandfather you in because you can imagine as I build this out, we're about to hit a stride, hit the right thing, and it's going to go viral or something to where a lot of people start using my tools. It's coming. And as soon as that lead generation goes up here and my need or demand for uh, users goes away, guess what happens? Prices go up. And naturally so. When you have a lot more people joining in, that means your prices are probably too low and it's time to raise them up. So you're going to be grandfathered in and getting all my tools for $29.99 a month. I can't believe it, but it's true. And then on top of that, let's just add another layer to this. I'm giving you the ability to white label. So if you want even my agentic back end that is going to give you the keys to the kingdom, I believe that's $27 a month is what I priced that at. Unbelievably low. So you're looking at, I should probably know this number by heart, but I think it's $53 just off the top of my head there for the ability to not only use all of this stuff, but now it's your own. And now you can put your name on it and you can sell it as your own. That means income opportunities that are astronomical. This is the fastest growing industry in the world, and we're at the front of it. So you're getting frontline tools that nobody else has access to. This is exclusive. We're country boys. Me and Greg, country boys from Arkansas. He's town smaller than mine, and I live in a small town, but we still come up with some pretty good products. So it's we've made that a digital packaging available out there amongst the back of the internet. So if you want these capabilities, jump on into CPWE.AI for our tools and some of the services that I have on my side, and definitely hit up bigxmedia.net if you got a website that you need to have rewireframed or restructured and brought to life into the new age where people are using AI to search. And if you've used Chat GPT, raise your hand, everybody. Yeah, it's getting there now. It's starting to. And people are going to be using that phone and using AI more for searching than they are on Google. It's already shifting, but it's going to shift like a tidal wave at some point. You're out in front with our stuff for $29 a month. You may even be able to have family wealth for generations out of these tools in a
So,
reoccurring subscription.
well, jump in here real quick on you, James. So, Chris asked, what kind of server hardware would we need to run an instance of OpenAI?
Mm, well, that wouldn't take much, but I would say if I was going to run an instance and I was going to pull a server down to my hometown and put it in my house and have a team come out, it would be Hugging Face. That's who I'd have. And it's gonna require at least an NVIDIA CUDA video card. You got the new Google card that would be okay, and I'm sure there's been some come out since I've lost track of it because I've been in deep development mode for about a month and 4 days.
I can tell
Every
you, for anybody in the Mac world, if you go Mac Studio or Mac Pro,
hmm
on that side of life, you can actually run an instance of OpenAI and have it do everything it needs to do in the background through its LLMs and to be able to run it directly from there. But that's for people that got a few more coins to spend on a machine because if you go to the upper level of a Mac Studio, you're upwards of about $3,200 to get everything configured the way it needs to be.
yeah, that's fair cost. I don't know that anytime you start adding hardware infrastructure, I don't know that you should start even thinking of the conversation under 10 grand. You're probably looking at a professional CCIE certified for Cisco coming in because anything you do better be cyber secured. You better have endpoint protection, IDS protection. Better set some boundaries and some frames around your data and tracking where it's coming in through maybe an IDMZ or a virtual DMZ, and put a NIST framework on top of that and start monitoring your cybersecurity through policy like grown-ups. And whenever you put that physical infrastructure in place, um, that's going to cost a little bit of money. I would assume that someone, if you're looking, say somebody from the manufacturing career fields on here, and like up the road, we got ConAgra and we got big, huge facilities. And they were looking at it and they were like, oh man, he just hit on exactly what we need. What'd he say? Something like that. Well, I'll tell you, if you get a hold of like KP or Rockwell Automation, they're going to charge you 25 grand just to come in and look at it. Pretty much. That's where you're starting. So uh, it, it's worth it for that team. But don't think this is cheap. But that's what you're getting with us is you're getting our knowledge. And I've mentioned this before, but I don't just package this up and send it to you and then just go away. No, when you open up these tools, you're going to start seeing that we're everywhere in there. We've developed this academy so I could build training courses for you guys. We've got over 1,000 of them in there. With the ones that I've done, Chris brings to the table a whole infrastructure of courses. And then I brought other courses that I've had over the years already before that. So, I mean, training on any subject that has to do with a digital asset, we have it. I even taught, I was teaching AI with cybersecurity, cloud computing 2022. So I was one of the first ones out there and still am. I'm still out here in the front. Just nobody knows my name because I was canceled. I mean, straight canceled. Told to write down data in a dark room and don't even make phone calls, essentially.
Yeah, so well, I want to touch on that while you're talking about that because seems to be something that comes and goes depending on the political age we're in. All I'm
Yeah.
gonna say, folks, is and look, me and James got some views that can dip way into some really deep rabbit trails if you want to go there. But that's neither here nor there. If you're gonna post something online, take caution in which you post that you don't find yourself getting eliminated. Because here's the problem: if you run a business and you have a Facebook page for your business
Mm-hmm.
and your private account gets busted and you've been black hatted, if you will, well, guess what else just went down the tubes? Your Facebook business page. Or if
Mm.
you do something like YouTube, videos that support whatever you do in business, man, you get blacklisted on there. Good luck pulling yourself out of that hat. You might as well just hope to start a whole new channel, different name, different ID, because you're not going to pull yourself out of that grave. I promise you. It's
I,
just a word of caution.
I
Like I said,
get
we
it.
don't.
I've been a content consumer for a long time. Uh,
Yep.
this is
And
my
I.
first time to ever start making videos. What was my first video like a month ago?
Mhm.
What do we have 2 months ago? Maybe we have 150 videos now. We're doing this at triple speed at this point. I'm trying to go 3 videos a day if I can and put them on all the social medias because
check your private messages real quick
on what? So
on this.
on this.
I sent you a private message.
Okay.
It's usually down there on the bottom of your screen where it says private chat.
I see that. I see that. Hey man, whenever whenever we can, we need to sit down again like we did this week because that was good. I, it's good to be face to face. So I think we need to do that as well as this Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
night on this, and we'll meet face
Well,
to.
yeah, the only way to really grow anything, I would say, I mean, these are great because it gets out before the open masses, but me and you meeting face to face, kind of have some chit chats, what's new, what's happening, how to use it a little bit more in depth. Because once, obviously, I understand it, you already do, but that just gives me more ground to be able to help promote it because you can't really promote something if you're not quite sure how to use it.
Craig, I appreciate your time. You're always top of my list. I promote your business too because I've seen your work. I know what it does. You put me number one, and you kept me there. You wrote the content. You built the blogs. You put together a bad to the bone website for me and let it out there into the public. And then that thing put me number one in pressure washing almost my first year. People were wondering who in the world is this guy just coming from nowhere to go into number one. And how in the world did he do that?
Well, it's even better is when your competition starts reaching
However,
out to you and saying, yo,
that's the secret weapon. And if you if you get his prices, I'm not going to say them out loud on here, but you get his prices. Just go to bigxmedia.net, schedule a call with Greg because he's got to jump off here. Schedule a call with Greg, and what you're going to find out is that it's going to blow your mind how much it costs. It's so cheap to me that I can't believe it. I still can't that he does what he does for the price he does, and it's worth every cent times 20. So, yeah, you should probably call him up if this is something you're looking for. Website administration, build you a new website, migrate a website. Uh,
they'll hook you up. But, anyways, folks, I got to go.
yes,
James,
sir.
good talking to you. We'll hook up.
Always.
All right, man.
Always.
See you.
I appreciate your time. See you, Greg. Wow. Yeah, Greg's good people. Sorry, we didn't plan out our conversation tonight. Sometimes that's obvious, but maybe a little bit more so tonight than normal. We just kind of went here and there and everywhere where we could go. I do want to say, like, a subject I wanted to hit on with Greg that we didn't hit on was schema markup. Now, Schema markup is nothing more than a fancy script that gets placed in the body of your website. One of the tools that we offer is AEO Optimized Schema Markup. Now, what used to take a long time with SEO, I can't promise results about like medical doctor at this point because some things are a mystery. But I can tell you that the people who optimize for AEO or Ask Engine, AI engine optimization, the people who are doing that are absolutely dominating the search results. It's coming back on ChatGPT. It's coming back on Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. And I was watching it real time as I was building the website. I was then throwing over into my browser. I had Microsoft Copilot tell me about my business as I was building these websites to see if it would change its tone as I optimized for AEO. And guess what it did? It absolutely changed its tone. Not only that, but then it started building out that structure where you see like the top line is your website and then the other 5 lines are your pages, and you kind of wonder how do I control what is seen when people search for my website and that shows up. You see a little blurb of small text and a headline title, and each page has that. I tell you that that's called a schema markup. And there's a very specific tool I have that is made to optimize and help you dominate in search results. I'm not a marketing agency. I haven't ran uh, I haven't ran ads before I started this business. Now, what I will say is I'm highly trained in ads for business owners because I've been a business owner a long time. So I have learned these principles and I know them. And not only do I know them, I know some really great things for new business owners. And on top of the marketing strategy stuff that I know, I have a tool to back it up. So I put you out front. If you're a small service based business, I completely empathize with you because I was a pressure washer. And so you can't answer the phone while you're spraying water sometimes. You miss a lot of phone calls that way. It tore me up to miss a phone call. I did not like it. It's kind of the first step of business is just answering the phone, right? It's hardest thing to do sometimes because you have so much going on. Well, these tools are made to where they start catching your phone calls. If you're able to hook this up correctly for yourself, and guess what? You have me and you have Chris on the backside of your tool set. Anytime you need us to, we can come right in there with you and build. If you do not want to learn AI, but you like what you're hearing, and you're like, I want one of those awesome websites that's fully optimized as a new business. Maybe you're swapping career fields. It's great for someone who's like a roofer for changing to be a property inspector, or this young man that came to my house, a lawnmower. So let me show you the website that I built for this young man in 1 hour. And on that note, I apologize for keeping you now 54, almost an hour myself. So let me show you this website. This is Jacob's Lawn Care. Forgive me, 1 hour, right? 1 hour website here. We built his logo with my tools. We built this website with my tools. Every one of these, if you put in your name, you put in your email address, you put in your phone number, It's going to go straight to his own CRM, not mine, his. My tools, he became my first official business user. And we did this in 1 hour for him. This, made with my tools, everything you see. It's already SEO optimized. This goes back to the home page. Made with our tools. I mean, this took an hour, guys. We just threw in these right here. And when we're talking AI engine optimization, we're talking FAQs. It's a question answer situation. So you want good, clear questions that include your SEO or your long tail keywords, like Greg was talking about. Now you have questions and answers. But that's not all. For his particular page, I went ahead and created a full FAQs page on top of that. So this is all his as well. And every one of these buttons, like I say, they are connected back to the CRM. We did service pages. Just threw this out. My tools gave me this picture earlier. I was like, well, might as well use it. And this is Jacob's Lawn Care, Russellville, Arkansas. He's does good work. He come out, he quoted me the job. I didn't really trust that a guy could mow an acre of grass for $40. But he come out and he held to his word, and even has for this website is doing some extra cleanup for. So this is a good business. This won't cost you an arm and a leg. But I built this website for him for his help cleaning up my yard and him continuing on doing some service for me. But this includes a video. I know that you can't hear this, so I won't even play it. I'm not sure why I cannot get the audio to work correctly with this, but I will try. Neat, huh? So that's a video, and again, 1 hour. We were we set a goal to put together a website within an hour and hook it all up. So, like I said, if I type in my name, my phone number, it will go directly to a CRM, and that's his personal CRM for his customers now off of the website. And all of my tools are integrated to his website. So not only did he get a website, he got all of my tools for $29 a month. So yeah, it helps to have friends, right? So we built this for him in an hour. I thought that was pretty cool. So it has been exactly an hour, I believe, on our live stream tonight. So with that, I appreciate your time as always. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like this, or Facebook, comment, do your things. It does help. I always heard that as a content consumer, but now that I'm starting to make content and be a creator, I've figured out that it does help. It helps the algorithm. It helps show intent or interest in what we're doing. So yeah, it would really help me out big time. Again, Greg Hyatt, bigxmedia.net. He's a website guru. He will really make your world change when it comes to any experiences you've had in the past with bad customer service. It doesn't matter. The experience is going to change with Greg. So, bigxmedia.net. He's always been real good to me and everybody else, as far as I know. Good night, everybody.